Hey champions, it's Hung Lee here, and welcome to today's presentation where I'm going to be sharing with you the one Facebook ads platform that allowed me to sell 105k worth of high-end coaching consulting services in less than 7 days without building or even needing a single landing page. So rest assured, I'm not selling anything on today's presentation. Today's presentation will be pure content and content which I hope will further inspire you in order to get similar or even better results. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So what exactly are you going to learn on today's presentation? Firstly, you're going to learn the 5C system that helped me win 105k worth of business, and that 105k number accrued to the amount of 7 coaching clients at a 5k deposit, in addition to 7 high-end consulting clients at a 10k per month retainer plus 3% success/performance fees on top. So that's 105k worth of collected business, not including the lifetime value of my consulting clients or even the coaching clients themselves. Secondly, how to instantly differentiate yourself from other B2B marketers and be perceived as an expert, authority, and strategic advisor. I'm very big on being able to perfect these 3: expert, authority, and strategic advisor, because then you will go ahead and realize that getting clients isn't really the hard part. It's ensuring that you can be of best service to the client and making sure that their needs come first. Thirdly, how to build a hyper-responsive list of prospective buyers without building a single landing page. So finally, it's about time that you can say goodbye to no more chasing window shopper prospects, no more creating endless amounts of content to the point you want to break your computer and pretty much, go bungee jumping off the cliff because it's just mind damaging. No more spending hours giving away free consultations only to realize that you could have pre-qualified the prospects beforehand. Okay, so no more spending hours giving away free consultations only to realize you could have pre-qualified prospects beforehand. And then by the time you do get on the phone and are ready to go ahead and see if you are a right fit for this prospective client, they're 80%, 90% more likely to go ahead and give you a yes, as opposed to just seek out free information. So who am I? Who exactly is Hung Lee? I'm an engineer, specifically mechanical engineer turned entrepreneur since 2009. I've built and sold 2 companies in the process, one being a mobile app business, which I sold for 6 figures back in 2012. The other being a digital marketing agency with 40 staff in the Philippines for 7 figures in 2014. At the moment, I'd say I'm a business growth advisor, mentor who's helped more than 30 entrepreneurs double, triple, and even quadruple the business in less than 12 months. And it's been a heck of a lot of fun being able to do that and really get nitty gritty into the mindset and the skill set of entrepreneurs to see what really holds us back. And one thing that I'm really proud of is that ever since 2012, I've been able to spend just over $1.5 million worth of Facebook advertising to really see across dozens of industries what works, what doesn't work, and how I can go ahead and systemize that level of knowledge and pass it on to you so you can avoid the hundreds of thousands of dollars or the tens of thousands of dollars of mistakes that I've made. Just for the record, there are 3 disruptive shifts right now that are happening right now that are affecting you and I. The first shift is that time spent messaging apps is far exceeding time spent in social networking at the moment. So here's a graph by BI Intelligence, so Business Insider Intelligence, and right now we're at the point of inflection where majority of users are spending much more time communicating, transacting business all throughout instant messaging apps such as Messenger, WhatsApp, WeChat, etc., as opposed to going ahead and checking their newsfeed all the time. So the question I ask is, where is attention really going? And I believe this is where Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, of course, summed this up, and he said messaging is one of the few things that people do more than social networking. So just keep that in mind. Second shift is that connection is greater than content. So Seth Godin said it best when he said that we are leaving the industrial economy and entering the connection economy. So what he really means is, okay, back in the industrial economy, it was all about, who had the best products, who could shout the loudest. Now it's about, okay, who's of best service to the customers and clients and who can go ahead and really listen the best, as opposed to the other way around. And because of that, entrepreneurs have become increasingly overwhelmed with all the content, all the garbage out there that tells you, okay, here's another tactic for today, here's another tactic tomorrow, and all of these tactics that overwhelm you, that promise you the world, when at the end of the day, it's about whether you are focusing more on connection or you're focusing more on content. Shift number 3 is that this is the interesting thing that a lot of people don't believe me until they actually run a campaign themselves, and that is Messenger is producing much better response rates than that of email. So if I go ahead and show you this slide that I found from Google, it's a comparison between the email open and click-through rates versus versus Messenger's average open rate and average click-through rate. So as you can see, with email, the average open rate is about 22.87%, so that seems pretty average, but the average click-through rate of those actual emails is about 3.26%. So your campaigns may be higher, maybe lower, what have you, but this is just a bare metric, so we'll compare one average to another. Now, if we look at Messenger, the average open rate is about 84.3%. So pretty much nearly 4 times as much as email, so more than 400% better open rate and response rate. And then if we look at the average click-through rate, there's a ridiculous comparison of pretty much more than 9 times as much increase. So these are astronomical figures that we're dealing with that not many people really taking seriously, because everybody thinks that Messenger is, you know, for this whole sort of personal connecting type of thing, and no one's really analyzed using Messenger properly for how it can benefit your business. And I hope I can eradicate that blockage today. So just keep these numbers in mind, because as we move along, it's really going to make sense and it's really going to fall together as to why this is actually happening as a shift, as a change in the marketplace, and as a new direction for where we need to go in business. So then I was led to ask myself what I call the 105K question, which was, if I started from scratch today, what one strategy would I implement in order to win my best clients' trust while building a hyper-responsive list, i.e. creating long-term equity, all without technical overwhelm, complex funnels, what have you? How can I do all of this if I started from literally nothing? So then that led to a further interesting discovery, especially at the fact that I've been in business, I'm in the consulting realm since 2012, and I looked at my current best clients, especially the ones who were able to pay my highest fees and also the highest fees with the least amount of friction. And I realized that more than 80% of my clients who personally engaged with me in making a decision to be able to be enrolled as a client did so through Messenger. So they decided through Messenger. It wasn't like I had to go through a series of 6 phone calls, 5 phone calls, what have you. This was all done through Messenger. So that really went along and got me thinking, like, hang on a second, what's really happening underneath the hood, so to speak? So let's ask ourselves, okay, where's Messenger going? Firstly, this is what Mark Zuckerberg said, is that we think you should be able to message a business like you would message a friend. And I know that may sound a little bit corny for a lot of you guys, but if you really look at how you're interacting with most businesses or other entrepreneurs, you're treating them like a friend. You know, you're going ahead and humanizing that level of connection, and that's exactly what instant messaging apps have allowed us to do, specifically Facebook Messenger. So you're probably wondering, hang on a second, okay, I use Messenger, maybe a couple of my connections use Messenger, but how many people really use Messenger? And that's a great valid question. So this is the latest community update coming from Facebook, who owns Messenger, of course, and this is on the 1st of February 2017, and what was stated was, as of that point, there's more than 1 billion active members on Messenger. That's 1 billion, so 1/7 of the world are actively using Messenger in order to create conversations, transact commerce, provide great valuable advice, and just deepen connections with other people, which in a way you cannot do through traditional social media. So then this begs the question of when chatbots were launched. So you must probably like, okay, what on earth is chatbots? Okay, I'll explain that on the next slide. But back in about April 2016, Facebook launched chatbots. So chatbots are a way to be able to actually automate a particular type of communication with your prospective customers and buyers, and also deepen connections without having to hire a whole bunch of team who will do that on a monotonous level. So like you're wondering, what on earth is a chatbot? So this is taken directly from Google. A chatbot is a computer program designed to simulate conversation with human users, especially over the internet. So you may have heard a bit of buzz around the chatbot and all this stuff about how it's used for customer service and it can really make things radically change in terms of handling inquiries. But how we're going to really look at delving into chatbots today is how you can best use it to pre-qualify and deepen relationships with prospective clients so that you yourself don't have to sit on the phone doing strategy sessions all day. You don't have to go ahead and deal with clients that you don't really want to deal with, or at least when you do go ahead and want to talk to them and see if you're a right fit, then you've got an 80 to 90% chance of being able to close the deal, so to speak. And then the other epiphany that came along, which absolutely excited me, was that Facebook launched Facebook feed to Messenger ads. So the ability to be able to run and add to a Facebook ad within the news feed and send on to Messenger to start a conversation. The moment Facebook launched this, I had the biggest smile on my face, and I realized this is one of the most personalized levels of advertising, specifically Facebook advertising, that we can use, and it works no better than any sort of service-based industry. So this really deepens the connections with prospects, and it abolishes any sort of myths about whether Facebook ads actually works for business-to-business companies. Well, this here is the holy grail, and we're going to really talk about a specific strategy that I use to be able to achieve remarkable results, in which I hope you can duplicate as well. So here's a quick disclaimer, is that I'm not guaranteeing that you will achieve the same results. However, I do guarantee that you'll be in the top 1% of Facebook marketers just by watching this video all the way to the end. But before we get right into it, I just want you to go ahead and really listen to a few of the case stories I have of my current clients, so you get a good idea of what is possible and what I'm doing and why I do what I do, so that we can really understand where a lot of this is coming from. The first case story is Brendan. So Brendan was able to close a high-end deal of $29,500. So how exactly did Brendan do that? Exactly by repositioning his business and value proposition to focus on a particular niche, as opposed to try to be everything to everyone. So I know what you're thinking. You're most probably bought into the whole sort of mass marketing type of approach where, you just want everyone to be your client, or if you're starting out brand new as well, you must probably thinking like, I could just be happy with any client in any industry. And that is the worst way to go about marketing, specifically strategic positioning for your business. So by the end of today's presentation, I'm going to really give you a strategy so you can really niche down, become a market leader for a subset of people who will absolutely love you for the products and services that you will provide to alleviate their problems within any given time. Secondly is Gus. So Gus was able to achieve a 300% net growth in less than 4 months for his marketing agency. And how exactly did he do that? Well, working alongside me, we were able to pinpoint Gus's strengths and his hidden skill sets. Thirdly is Mark. So Mark was able to scale his SEO agency rapidly from 17K per month to 60K per month in less than 6 months, which is roughly about 250% net growth. And how we were able to strategically do that was to pinpoint Mark's leverage points in order to remove core constraints, what was holding him back, essentially the blockages within both his personal and business side of things. And in order to be able to do that, we're able to go ahead and actually align both his mindset and skill set and produce an explosive outcome as a result, which led to this astronomical level of growth. So let's talk about the 7 myths of Facebook ads, which I constantly always hear time and time again at conferences I speak at, one-on-one interactions with entrepreneurs, and essentially what you'll read online all the time. So the first myth is that Facebook ads don't work. Okay, so as of this presentation, I've taken a snapshot about the market capitalization of Facebook. And as you can see, the current market capitalization of Facebook is $441.4 billion. Okay, that's billion with a B, so that's not million, that's billion. So if Facebook ads do not work, which essentially Facebook ads is the revenue driver for Facebook itself, how on earth would the company be worth this much? It's honestly not running off just a free social networking site. Like, Facebook has bills to pay, shareholders to impress, and at the end of the day, they've earned every single dollar that has really come their way as a result. So just keep that in mind when someone tells you Facebook ads don't work. Secondly, is that Facebook ads requires a massive budget. This is what I call the big boy syndrome. So to be honest, this isn't just within Facebook ads, it's within all advertising platforms. I always hear from entrepreneurs, but Like, I could go ahead and spend, $50 a day, but then, there's big advertisers who are spending, $5,000 a day, $10,000 a day. How on earth can I go up against them? So how on earth you go up against them is by being more nimble, being more strategic, and being much more focused on the select niche that you want to be of great service to. You don't try to be everything everyone. The big companies can do that. They have the budget for that. They don't really care as much about efficiency. But between you and I, like personally, any company making less than about $50 million is more suited to be able to be more strategic and focused with your Facebook advertising campaigns. And what I'm going to share with you today throughout this presentation, this specific strategy, will allow for you to start on as little as $20 a day. The third myth is that it's all about content marketing. Go out there, do blogging 10, 20 times a week. Go create a podcast, create this, create that. And next thing you know, you're spending 80 hours a week just creating content, and there's not enough business coming in because you're not really doing revenue generating activities. If you're going ahead creating content, okay, that's great. You're getting your ideas out on paper, you're showing your message. But if there's no sales process that is backing it up, you're honestly wasting your time. And not only are you wasting your time, you're overwhelming yourself, you're overwhelming your prospective clients because they're most probably saying, okay, well, what's really going on? What do you really do? I'm a bit confused. One moment you're talking about this topic, next moment you're talking about that topic, where do we start? So that's a big problem, big time bomb, ticking time bomb that I want you to avoid. So from now on, just understand you don't need to create endless amounts of content. You just need to create content that's specific to an audience and that can have a structured sales process to back it up. Myth number 4 is that Facebook ads only work if you're offering a free consultation. So I could count on about 2, 3, 4 hands in terms of how often I always get told this, and that all these coaches consultants will tell me, okay, the only way to really make advertising work is that you really just give away as many free consultations as possible because people are so scattered in the marketplace. If you don't give away free consultations, they won't even bother. And the thing is, every time you give away a free consultation, that's fine when you've done your due diligence, your hard market research to understand that the person you're talking to actually should be a client of yours, and that if they don't proceed through, that'll be a disservice. That's fine. But if you are doing an inbound marketing strategy and 80% of the time you don't know exactly who they are and whether they can afford your services, giving away a free conversation will just waste your time, fill up your calendar, and just have you asking why on earth did you get into the services-based business to begin with, and things can begin to go downhill. So just like Oliver Twist says here, please, sir, can I have more respect? That's exactly what's going on when you're giving away yourself for free, your time away for free, and just really devaluing yourself when you yourself know that you offer a great product or service, so you should charge a premium accordingly. Myth number 5 is that Facebook ads only work for B2C. So I hear this all the time. Everyone says, Facebook ads is only great for business to consumer. If you're selling direct to the customer, such as if you're a restaurant, if you're selling residential property, solar generation, solar panels, what have you. But the truth of the matter is that due to the level of convergence that's happened within the past few years, in terms of how more connected and more transparent we've become, there is no just business to business or business to consumer. It's at the end of the day, it's human to human. So it's H to H, which at the end of the day means that no matter what, whether we're selling to businesses or selling direct to consumer, there's a human being behind the sales process who's making a strategic decision to risk his or her livelihood and to risk their particular type of reputation in order to proceed with you. So it's a human that's driving it. It's not a business entirely. It's not a consumer entirely. It's a human being. So let's talk about myth number 6, is that I need lots of fans. So everyone, for some reason or other, okay, I would understand if you thought this way back in about 2010, but it's not 2010 anymore. But I still hear that people say, oh, I need lots of fans. I need to go ahead and acquire all these followers if I want to make my Facebook advertising useful. And the thing is, you don't need lots of fans. You need lots of strategies to be able to leverage other people's fans accordingly, who have put in the hard effort to be able to build the audience. All you have to do is make sure you show up in the right place at the right time with the right product or service, and you will always win. Myth number 7 is that I don't have the budget for fancy images. Like I always hear so many people try to do Facebook ads and say, oh, I need a really polished Facebook ad image. It needs to be, the whole 9 yards. I need to go spend maybe $500 just to get the ad graphic done. And the truth of the matter is, it's not so much about the ad image quality, it's about the message and the story that you're choosing to tell. So you don't need a big fancy camera like this guy here. Or you need something simple, a simple online graphic tool such as canva.com, which is free to use. You just have to purchase stock photos if you use it, but that's all you need to be able to get up and running if you go down the image route. But today's presentation, I'll be sharing more of a route of how we can use video as opposed to image. But don't be scared about using video just yet. Just wait and see. You'll be able to see that it's much simpler than anyone else has ever told you. So before I reveal the breakthrough strategy, there's just one great quote I want to read out to you, which is, you've got what it takes, but it will take everything you've got. So generally speaking, we've got the drive, we've got the determination, but it's a matter of being able to access your drive and determination to its fullest potential. If you choose to not do that, moving after this presentation, then this presentation may not be for you. You may be better off doing something else. But if you're really driven and you're really determined to be able to go ahead, put your foot down and say, I deserve to go ahead and get more clients and be able to get more highly pre-qualified clients, then this presentation is definitely for you. So let's keep going. Okay, so I'll call this the 5C system, and are you ready? So the first part of the 5C system is choice. Secondly, curiosity. Thirdly, connection. Fourthly, conversation. And the last part is commitment and winning the deal. So the 5 key elements of the 5C system are as follows. So the first part being choice. So how do we target the top 10% of a niche so that we deal with the rich in the niche? So the particular segment of the marketplace who is already educated on our product, who's willing to pay a premium, and is much more responsive as a client or customer, depending on what industry you're in order to ensure that you can produce a long-term fulfilling relationship. Secondly is curiosity. So how do we craft a compelling Facebook Messenger ad that ties in perfectly to your unique results proposition? So just in case you're wondering what the heck is a unique results proposition, okay, I'm going to take a few steps back. In the early days of, let's say, the earliest beginnings of your production age, so industrial age, it was all about your unique sales proposition. How do you come up with something that the market can distinguish so that they can say, wow, I want that. Then the next level, which was taken from a lot of technology startups, is your unique value proposition. So it's not so much about sales and trying to use messaging to get more sales, but having a message that actually conveys the value you capture of a marketplace. I find, okay, that's great, but then again, it's still somewhat abstract. So then the next level is what I call unique results proposition, which actually has a defined endpoint or defined destination and gets both you and your client on board in order to be able to be of best service to the client and the marketplace itself. So just keep that in mind, that unique results proposition really is much more powerful. And I'll go ahead and display examples as we go along. Thirdly, connection. So being able to engage with prospects and understand exactly where they are at this current moment. So what problem are they facing? What are the challenges they're experiencing? While at the same time, you're determining if you both would actually be a right fit should you both move forward in the agreement itself. The fourth stage is the conversation. So how do we go ahead and further pre-qualify them, whether it's through a webinar, whether it's through, like say a Google Hangout, Skype call, etc., and be able to pre-sell them on the fact that, you have the solution that they need to solve their pressing problem. And then the last stage is commitment. So for any arrangement to go through, there needs to be a level of mutual commitment that creates a win-win situation for all parties involved. If not, it's only a matter of time till you both start doing each other disservice and it ends up being a messy relationship. And that's one thing we certainly want to avoid, because by building or having a great company, it involves for you to be of greatest or best service to your clients. So step one is choice. Okay, so when choosing the rich within the niche, there's a select few questions that I always suggest every one of my clients to ask, and people like yourself who are watching this video to also ask yourself. And the first question is who, so which particular niche do I care most about helping in order to solve a painful problem which will empower me to provide the fastest and best results possible. Secondly, who is already investing money in my services or an alternative solution to solve the problem in question 1. Thirdly, do any of my current clients or members of my current network appeal to 1 and 2? A good activity to do is really look at your current testimonials, your great feedback, heck, even your LinkedIn recommendations, to really see exactly which type of clients are you able to provide the best results for. And generally, a best reflection of that is to look in real time in terms of the real time results you're providing at this present moment. Fourthly is how can I best target the top 10% with the particular niche? So finding the niche within, finding the rich within the niche. So a lot of people say, okay, I want to do marketing services for the roofing industry. Like, that's still somewhat broad. Okay, it's niche in the sense that you're targeting roofing, but then you have to ask yourself, okay, who would make up 10% of the top revenue in this in this particular industry itself? Would it be the commercial roofers? Would it be residential roofers? And then soon you'll find, hang on a second, commercial roofers do 100K, 200K deals. Residential roofers only do 5, 10K deals. So why don't I go after the commercial roofers? Because I'll be able to charge higher fees, provide better service, better resources to work with, and we can really get up and going. Finding your dream clients. Okay, so when we look at finding dream clients and to be able to target them correctly on Facebook, we need to understand that the best way we can target on Facebook and tie it into aggregates of our ideal clients is to understand which associations are our ideal clients and dream clients part of. Where do they hang out? What pieces of software do they use? What tools do they use? What trade expos? What events do they go to? Make a huge list of this. Like, you can go ahead and just go on Google and just really Google niche lists. So, commercial roofing lists, plumbing lists, dental lists, what have you, massage therapy lists, etc. And then you'll be able to really understand where they go and who has existing trust with your ideal clients. And we go ahead and show up in the right place at the right time through the right Facebook ad. So secondly, we want to make sure we cross-correlate what's being researched in one and cross-correlate that with Facebook's interest targeting. So step 2 is curiosity. So before we get right into Facebook ads, I just need for you to understand the structure of how Facebook ads actually works. So the first thing you need to understand is that you create separate campaigns. I would suggest creating a separate campaign for every association, every interest that you target. You want to keep it separately so that you can actually understand what on earth is working and what is not working. And then when you look at the ad set, so the ad set is a subsidiary of the campaign itself. So you need one for each of the videos we tend to use. So one for each of the different style types of ads. And thirdly is the actual ad itself. So generally speaking, within every ad set, you're going to have separate ads that you split test that will be targeting different audiences, etc. But don't get too hung up on this because during this presentation, we're going to really create one campaign from scratch, as long as you follow along, of course, and then you'll see that's just a function of going ahead and duplicating it. So the URL you want to go to is www.facebook.com/ad/create. And the type of campaign you want to choose, the marketing objective, is traffic. So secondly, once you do click on traffic, you'll be taken to this page where you'll have to come up with a name for your campaign. So just type your campaign name in, then click continue. Secondly, you'll be presented with the ad set name. So just type in the ad set name that you want to call. You can just call it, say, Chambers of Commerce, #1. Secondly is for traffic. So where do you want to send them? So don't click on app. We're not going ahead and trying to get them download an app. We want them to either click website or messenger. Then next part is to go ahead and create a new audience that we're targeting. So we are doing this all from scratch. So we're creating a different type of audience that we're trying to research for. Then secondly is the location. So just make sure when it comes to location, be as relevant as you need to be. However, if you're not sure at all, then I would suggest to go to Google Trends. Type in what particular keyword you would use to be able to search for your ideal audience. Plug it into Google Trends and they will tell you exactly where the demographics and location of your prospective clients would be around. So you may find that there may be, only a set few particular cities within the United States that are relevant to the product or service that you offer. Next is age, so be as relevant as possible. So don't get too hung up on this part and try to figure out whether, okay, is it 35 to 39, that's my perfect audience, or is it 49 to 53? Don't get too worried about that. Most of the time we will be allowing Facebook to do automatic optimization on certain parts of the campaign, so don't worry too much. But I do suggest just use a bit of common sense and logic here, and just aim for the age that roughly would be most suitable for your products and services. Next is languages, so of course be as relevant as you need to be. Then detailed targeting. So here's one thing I'm very adamant about, is that when you target one particular campaign, one ad, only target one interest at a time. Like, this frustrates me so much when I see so many so-called Facebook advertisers who tell you to just throw in 1, 3, 5, like 20 different interests and just go after them all because you need a huge audience. You don't need that, because if you do that, you have no idea what's really working. And the whole point of being able to do paid advertising, specifically Facebook advertising, is to be able to track and measure success. It's not to be able to fail as fast as you can, it's to actually track what's working. Then just go ahead and save the particular audience. Next, of course, you want to save the audience name, so just call it something you can remember so that we can target the particular audience again. So like I said here, COC, which stands for Chambers of Commerce, 35 plus and within United States. Then click Save. Next, just make sure that you see a box symbol like this under Use a Saved Audience. So if it looks all good, then it's all good. Next, you'll be asked to go ahead and decide which placements you want. Okay, this is what I call the Facebook ad stupidity tax, is when people tick automatic placements. Like, I don't care if Facebook says that it's recommended for them because it's much easier for them to make more money off you. So the whole point is that we want to choose where these ads show up so that we can go ahead and make sure that every dollar we spend is highly effective. So just avoid that Facebook ad stupidity tax and go ahead and don't tick automatic placements, untick it, and then tick edit placements, which is much more of a viable option. Okay, so the platforms we want to choose, like, we don't care about Instagram, Audience Network, and all these other options. All we care about is the Facebook feed. So only tick the Facebook feed and untick and forget all the other options, because they're just not effective for what we're going to do moving forward. Then we're presented with a budget. So you don't have to go ahead and freak out and say, oh, do I have to spend $200 a day, $1,000 a day to get some results? Just start off small, but think big. We need to start small so that Facebook can get their act together and perform auto optimization and tweak on their behalf, on your behalf, so that you don't have to go ahead and lose an arm and a leg. So just start small. I wouldn't suggest anything less than about $20 a day. Otherwise, there's just not enough to work with in order for Facebook to tweak it. So just start on $20 a day. And then after about 5 days, you can possibly consider whether you want to scale up to 30, 40, but don't go ahead and reduce it from like $20 to $5, because if you do that, Facebook hates what I call Facebook ad momentum. And the moment you dramatically reduce your level of momentum in the ad, they'll just penalize you and you realize your ad will just completely bomb. Next, optimization for ad delivery. You just want to choose link clicks. So we aren't taking them to an external URL, we are taking them to Messenger. For a bit amount, just for now, I would suggest to choose automatic so that you allow Facebook to do their heavy lifting. But if you are unsure in terms of how much it's going to cost, you can just click on manual, which is underneath automatic there, to go ahead and really see how much roughly they'll be looking to charge you. To the right hand side, you'll see estimated daily reach. Just take this with a grain of salt. So many marketers get hung up on this, say, oh my god, like, if I'm going to spend $20 and I'm only going to get 11 to 61 clicks, like, am I even going to get results? Understand this is just an estimation, and none of this will be concrete until you run the ad itself and get real-time data. Then once that's cool, just click continue. Then we're presented with the ad name. And after that, just choose the right Facebook page. Okay, you'll be surprised how many marketers out there choose the wrong Facebook page and all of a sudden wonder why they're getting like the wrong audience or wrong engagement. Then choose single video. So we're not using images, carousel, slideshow. We're actually using a video for this strategy because video is the most effective way to engage your audience. That's proof of it right now. You're watching a video as we speak, and it's the best way to convey any message and to be able to connect with people's hearts in a way that they never understood that they had a problem or that there was a solution for the problem to begin with. Okay, so you must be wondering, okay, what types of videos are there? In terms of these successful videos that I've split tested myself for both clients, myself, other small projects on the side, is that there are 3 types of winning video, especially when you're in the B2B space. So when you're in the so-called business space. But as I mentioned, I just call it human to human. It's not just B2B, but if you're in the business, selling to business owners, so to speak, then the first one to start with is a winning case story. So you look at your best case story of your best client. That will generally go ahead and set the frame, set the right stage to attract your ideal client towards you, because people see themselves in other people's, solutions or other people's stories. Secondly, is you can have a world-class webinar. So Facebook doesn't allow for you to have any video longer than 60 minutes, so just keep that in mind. Recently, they have changed it to 45 minutes, but the funny thing is, depending on who your ad manager or ad representative is, you may get away with being more than 45 minutes and less than 60. It depends, but we'll just say around 45 minutes to be effective. Then the third type of video is a video sales letter. So if you're really unsure as to, okay, where do you start? What if you don't have the best case stories or you don't have a video case story? Then I would suggest to start off with the third option, is a video sales letter. There's lots of sources online as to how do you create a video sales letter, how do you go ahead and, write one that will sell. But the most important thing is just to start with one of these videos. Okay, then we're presented with uploading the video. So once you create your own video, go ahead and upload it directly. Then on the right hand side, just take note of the actual video specifications, because if you get any of these wrong, you'll either be disapproved by Facebook or the actual video itself will just look horrible. So just keep that in mind. Next is step 3, so connection. Once we go back to Facebook ads setup, you see that there's an option underneath links, and you want to click on Messenger. So we're not taking the destination to a website URL. So as I originally said on the first slide, this is all done without a landing page. So we have to tick Messenger. So click Messenger. And the reason is we want to make sure we're keeping them within this ecosystem and we're creating connection, which is the sole essence of this particular step. So once you click Messenger, click on Set up Messenger content. Then when you click on Messenger content, you'll be presented with this particular screen. And the first initial thing you will think to yourself, if you haven't seen this before, is what the heck is going on? What they talk about, postback URLs, JSON, what the heck is going on? Rest assured, I'm going to go ahead and break this down for you. So you'll have 2 tabs. You'll have quick creation and you'll have JSON creation. So what quick creation is that you're able to create a mini Facebook bot, a mini Facebook automatic response when someone actually engages you with Messenger. I don't suggest this because Facebook will control a lot of the flow and a lot of the process itself, and you're not really able to build a responsive list in the process. So a better alternative, so like I put here, a sad face if you choose quick creation. So a better alternative with a happy face is the JSON creation, so the second tab. So you must probably thinking like, what the heck is JSON? Okay, I'll get to that in a minute, but just know that just keep this JSON creation tab open and just open up another window, because we're going to return back to this particular section. So like you may be wondering, what on earth is a JSON query? So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. I know it sounds fancy and you're probably wondering like, what the heck is that? In essence, for what we're using it for this particular scenario, it's an automatic triggered response. So think of it as a way to be able to run an autoresponder message, so an automatic email send out message within Facebook Messenger itself, without you having to manually type this by yourself all the time. You actually can have software that helps automate this for you. I'll go into the specifics of the software that I'll recommend on the future slides, but just hang in there and just understand that this itself is a game changer for being able to automate the level of engagement we are providing for this Facebook Messenger ad. Okay, so how on earth do we set up this JSON? Great question. So the platform I suggest, and trust me, I've used every single bot platform, messenger bot platform you can imagine, and the #1 platform that has the best user experience, user interface so far is ManyChat. So you can check it out at ManyChat.com. Just check it out after this presentation, of course. So it's a messenger marketing, CRM, and chatbot platform. And to be able to do what I'm going to be discussing with you is to go ahead and upgrade to the Pro plan. So just to be clear, I don't get reimbursed. I'm not an affiliate or anything like that. I'm just blown away by how cheap this actual platform is, because for $10 a month, you can honestly save yourself hours and hours a day with the system that I'm sharing with you throughout this presentation, of course. For the $10 per month plan, as I just mentioned, you're able to engage up to 500 subscribers. So it does, increase in payment once you get past that, but just know you can start for as little as $10 per month. And trust me, it's worth every single penny. Like, I'm just blown away with the fact that it's only $10 per month. I would personally myself pay at least $50 a month easy for what this platform can do. So once you've signed up for ManyChat Pro account, then you'll see something similar to this. So you'll be taken to the actual dashboard. I suggest to go ahead and click on Growth Tools on the left-hand sidebar, and then click on, at the top right, click plus New Growth Tool. So we're creating a new funnel here, so to speak. Okay, so then you'll be presented with a whole bunch of options, and you'll be wondering what on earth do I do here? There's so many options to do. Rest assured, just focus on the Facebook ads JSON, so the one that has a pro sort of sticker attached to it. Once you click on that, you'll be taken to the right hand picture here that I have, and you'll have to go ahead and create your automatic responses once someone actually clicks the actual call to action on your particular Facebook Messenger ad. So once someone clicks on your ad, they can actually receive an automatic message through Messenger, which is essentially what we're doing now. So I'll call it the first triggered response, just in case you're unsure about the lingo. So once you click on edit, we're taken to the next screen where you'll have to create your first message, so to speak. So as you can see here, I've got, okay, hello, great to hear that you are ready to begin adding 1 million or more to your business in 12 months or less. May I ask you some questions to see if we would be a right fit for each other moving forward? And then once they click that button here, so I'll tick that there. So once they click the button, which is yes, let's do this, then I trigger another response. But just understand this is the first call to action message, and you can see in Messenger preview on the right hand side, right over here, that's how the first message looks within Messenger itself. So pretty neat, right? You don't have to manually keep typing that and responding to prospects. ManyChat actually does it automatically. Then you want to set up your second message. So once someone actually clicks this particular button here, what are you going to say in order to drive the conversation forward and to be able to set the frame? So personally, I have a list of questions that I always ask, but in reference, and you must probably wondering, okay, what are those questions? I'll share some questions later, but a rough sort of guide in terms of what questions to ask, such as, if we were to have this conversation 12 months time, what would have had to happen in order for you to be happy with our progress or our results? Secondly, where are you now? Thirdly, where do you want to be? What do you think is holding you back? General questions that are introspective, but also pre-qualifies the prospective client. Normally, you would have to do this through an online booking form or do it like manually, but with the use of ManyChat Pro, you can actually do this all on an automated level. Pretty cool, right? After you've completed your first two messages, you'll go back to the main menu of the particular campaign you've set up in ManyChat, then click next. Then you'll see a whole bunch of code, and don't freak out. I know that's the first inclination for anyone who's not tech savvy to freak out and say, oh my God, what the heck is this? I'm not tech savvy. Don't worry about it. That's the whole point of ManyChat. They do it for you. Then just go ahead and click on the button below, which is, copy code to clipboard. Once you copied it, you go back to that same particular screen. So the reason why I told you to leave that tab open before was that we're going back to it. Now we're going back to it, which is the JSON creation screen. So go back to it now and copy and paste from your clipboard code the exact JSON creation code that will go into this particular section so that we can actually run the response correctly. Back to Facebook Ads Manager. Okay, so once we've got the video, we've set up the responses. Now the most important thing, well, one of the most important things I'll say is the actual ad copy. So don't worry, you don't have to go ahead and write a whole essay within Facebook Message. I won't suggest that anyway, because the whole purpose is we want people to actually watch your videos. So whether it's your webinar, your case story, your VSL, we want people to watch that particular video so you can build a connection. You can build, I guess, a deep connection as soon as possible to be able to get your message through. So what you want first is a pre-qualifying statement. So I'd said here, like, abbreviation attention, Chamber of Commerce members. I'm disqualifying the moment they see the first line of the actual ad copy. Then next, is to ask a question that's tied into your unique results proposition. So instead of saying, are you struggling to get more clients? Like, look, at the end of the day, that's quite a generic value proposition. I myself personally will tie it to my value proposition, so my unique results proposition, which is, would you like me to personally help you add 1 million or more to your business in 12 months or less? That's something that any company who's interested in growth and interested to take the business next level, who sees that as being dramatic growth, will go ahead and say, yes, that's great, and will continue to read on. And once they do read on, what you want is to inspire the prospect to pre-qualify themselves and to see if they qualify, because you don't just take on every and any single client. I hope you don't, because if you do, you're most probably dealing with a lot of tire kicker clients. Okay, so what the copy here is that follow these steps to see if you qualify. And then I've got, step 1, which is watch the video to the end. And then step 2, click the send message button below, talk soon. So that's it. There's no crazy ninja copy here that most people try to tell you through Facebook ads. It's just simple, straight to the point. Makes it look like it's not your typical ad so that it engages them. And then we can go ahead and make sure that we can take them to the next step. So just make sure your call to action is send message. That would be the most effective one, because we're trying to send them to Messenger, of course. So it's best to be direct. Then the last part is newsfeed link description. So just make sure that it's just a shortened pitch of your text section. It doesn't have to be completely extensive. As you can see here, I just said straight my unique results proposition, which is, would you like me to personally help you add 1 million or more to your business in 12 months or less? Click send message to see if you qualify. So short, sweet, straight to the point. Okay, then as you fill in the ad copy, you'll scroll down and you'll see a pixel tracking section. So make sure that you're always using your Facebook pixel, because your pixel allows you to cookie who your particular prospects are when they engage with your ad, when they click with your ad, when they engage with your page, so that you can have more data on your side to build better service to prospective clients. Like, it's alarming how many consultants and Facebook marketers I know who don't do this, and you're really leaving a lot of potential on the table, because you're essentially saying you're not interested in knowing more about your potential clients. If in the event you've got a new account, you will see a different window, which is on the right hand side. And as you can see on the right hand side, it says, Facebook pixel, you can create 1 pixel for tracking, optimization, remarketing, create a pixel. So just make sure you either create a pixel right now or you have one already activated. Then you will notice, with a similar example to mine, if you use like a text-based sort of video, whether it's a VSL, webinar, etc., is that you'll get something like this, which is what I call the text complex. So Facebook will say your ad may not run ... So what they're saying is there's too much text in your particular video or your image, so we don't think that you'll get the best response ever, but just letting you know, if you have bad results, it's not our fault. That's what they say, because that's what their machine says. It's not always necessarily true. So what I've seen from my personal experience is, as long as your unique results proposition is extremely enticing, that overrides whatever medium text-rich base creative you use. So not to worry. What you can do is, instead of having a video thumbnail of your first slide with a whole bunch of text or headlines, just replace your video thumbnail with something that's more of a catchy image that has less text, and you will completely override this particular message. So then once you're ready, click review order to double check. And once you click review order, you'll see a screen like this. So it just gives you a summary of all the options you've done. Just go step by step, make sure all the actual options are correct. Then once it looks good, just click place order to go ahead and proceed to the checkout or payment processor. And then we're off to step 4, which is the conversation, which that conversation is a booked appointment, in layman's terms. So in regards to booking an appointment, okay, so when exactly do we book the appointment is the question you may be thinking. And the best time to book the appointment is once the prospect has actually answered your pre-qualifying questions that I spoke about within ManyChat. Then you want to perform the following in terms of this sequential process. So the first step would be to thank the prospect for answering your questions accordingly. Secondly, relay their answers back in a summarized sentence or two to show that you have listened empathetically. Because if you don't do this, then it does not show that you listen to the answers, and it shows that you just want to sell if you go straight into talking about how great you are or how great you want to sell the product or service that you have. So it just allows both of you to be in alignment on the same page, and it empowers you to have the right level of permission moving forward to be able to strengthen this connection. Thirdly, want to invite them to talk further on the phone by nominating 2 time slots. So I know you may be wondering, okay, why don't I just send them a link to the online schedule and all that? Okay, I get it. But when people are engaging with you in Facebook Messenger, they're generally engaging with you there right then and there. So make their job easier by deciding on their behalf, but also letting them choose out of the 1 or 2 time slots that are most viable for their schedule. Then fourthly, just ask them this question. Okay, Mr. Prospective Client or Miss Prospective Client, which email is best for me to send through a Google Calendar or iCal invite? Because when you do this, okay, so you may be thinking, okay, this is in reverse. I'd rather have the email first than engage on Messenger. Okay, I get that. But so far, we've created a conversation within Messenger. We haven't earned the email. And I don't care if you want to get some software program out there that can scrape them from Messenger to email. That's not of my interest. I'm not into that because eventually that's going to blow up in your face. But what I'm into is being able to get the email of someone who's already a hot lead, who's very interested in having an appointment, and getting the right email to begin with. So the best way to ask for that and to add value is to say, where do I best send, the Google Calendar invite? So once you do, and the appointment's booked, you both decide on time, then step 5, of course, is to show up energetic, enthusiastic to appointment, and just get really excited about where you can drive the relationship. And the best way to drive any relationship forward is by asking the right questions. So Tony Robbins said this best, the quality of your life or the quality of your business is proportionally linear to the quality of the questions that you ask. So let's talk about some questions which I would suggest to ask when it comes to any appointment or any sort of discovery call that you perform with your prospective clients. The first one is, of course, Mr. Decision Maker, Miss Decision Maker, Miss Business Owner, Mr. Business Owner, what have you. If we were to have this conversation in 12 months' time, what would have had to happen in order for you to be happy with our results? So what this question does is it allows the prospective client to be laser focused, and allows for you as a coach, consultant, service provider to really pre-frame the relationship moving forward, to understand that there's a potential path in being able to get them to that result. Second question, what do you believe needs to be strengthened in order to support achieving this? So this is really root problem analysis, and it's really empowering your prospective client to have further clarity on what's keeping them stuck. Question 3, what options have you looked at to achieve this? So this allows for you to meet them where they are and understand, like, if they haven't tried any other options, they may be a lot more receptive to wanting to listen about what you have to say, unless if they've tried 10 options, being scarred, it's a different conversation. But at least with this question, we can go ahead and just meet them where they are. So question 4, is there anything that you or your employees are doing that may be getting in the way of achieving this result? So what we're looking for here are potential bottlenecks, core constraints, blockages within the company or even themselves that are holding them back from being able to get the results. And as a coach, consultant, service provider, this is most probably one of the most important questions, because then it gives you clarity on what needs to be unblocked, removed from the level of constraints in order to drive results forward. Question 5, why should prospective clients choose you over your competitors? So this puts them on the right page to understand why they're doing business and what their differentiation is in terms of why they're better than their competitors. And it's alarming how many businesses don't get this clear. So it's best to ask this question so that at least you can help them with this. Even if they do or they don't come on board as a client, you can at least help them gain that level of strategic positioning to develop their own proposition so that we can really make the most out of it. Okay, question 6 is, what was the main reason that you wanted to meet with me today? So it's not an arrogant question or anything. It's just a direct question to reiterate focus and to get both of you on the same page, because by now the conversation most probably has gone for at least a good 20 minutes. Then 7 is, should we proceed? If we proceed, or when we proceed, who will be making the final decisions on this project, and who will be in charge of implementation. So what we're essentially determining is who will say no to this potential deal or this potential agreement, and who will say yes. Because what I've really learned in most companies is that the person who can say no is not always the person who can say yes. So you always want to make sure you're talking to the person who has the highest level of influence in order to give your yes and to go ahead and proceed with your great product or service. Then these 4 important questions, I couldn't reiterate them more in terms of how important they are. I'll call them the collaborative close questions, because that's essentially what you do. You're going ahead and going back and forth, engaging with them to understand how serious they are about moving forward. The first collaborative close question is, how important for you is it to solve this problem? Secondly, what would the perfect solution look like? Thirdly, what is it worth to you in order to solve this problem immediately? Fourthly, how soon are you looking to get started? Okay, and the final step of the 5C system is commitment. What I mean by commitment is being able to go ahead and win the client over, but make sure you produce a mutually beneficial relationship. Otherwise, there's just no point. So in order to be able to win a deal correctly, you will send an agreement. I know many of you coaches or consultants may go straight to an invoice. In the event that you send an agreement and you just want to have something in writing that puts everyone on the same page, then this is what I suggest, is that you stop saying contract, you stop saying proposal, you say agreement, because agreement means you both are mutually beneficial, you both are benefiting each other with all parties involved. A contract signals, like unnecessary commitment sometimes, and proposal is just a place to get lost. So reiteration of what was spoken about during the breakthrough session is very important to be included within your agreement. And also you want to include goal-oriented milestones, and really mention activities and deliverables that are really return on investment focused, not sort of feature focused. That's always a tendency of a lot of people who are in technical fields like IT consulting, SaaS consulting, what have you. But at the end of the day, your client just wants a return on investment. Then also list any relevant power guarantees that really differentiate you from the marketplace, exclusivity agreements, fast action bonuses, what have you. At the end of the day, a lot of these, if you include just one of each of these, so just one power guarantee, exclusivity agreement, and a fast action bonus, you will increase your conversions on the appointment to new client dramatically, heads and shoulders among everyone else. So you're probably wondering, okay, well, what if I've got clients who aren't local to me? How on earth can I get them to sign an agreement? And I want to keep everything digital. So that's a great question. I personally suggest PandaDoc. So that's pandadoc.com. They have a bunch of great templates that you can go ahead and just tweak. Or if you already have your already existing winning agreement template, then you can just import that into HelloSign and just use e-signature. The whole goal of this, of course, is to win the deal and get paid. And how exactly do you get paid? So a great resource I use is FreshBooks, which integrates directly into Stripe. They've got great support. It's great for small, medium business owners. I just couldn't be more happy with the service itself. I've been a customer for 5 years, so that says it all. Okay, so in terms of payment channels, everyone always asks me, okay, which one should I use? Should I use 2Checkout? Should I use PayPal, Stripe, etc.? My personal recommendation is I suggest Stripe. It's like, I just love it. Okay, I've had a lot less issues as opposed to PayPal. I'd still use PayPal, but of course I'll recommend Stripe, full stop. So just really go ahead, just use whichever service, any payment processor service that suits you best. If you like all of this and you'd like me to personally help you add 1 million or more to your business 12 months or less, just click the link below or the link within the description. When you implement the strategy, you may be wondering, okay, what if I don't get the responses I want? Is there a way to increase conversions, or is there a way to follow up? And yes, I always say to every single person, every entrepreneur I interact with, is that fortune is in the follow-up. Nobody buys, some people buy things on the first interaction, but people need focus. They need reminders. They need reasons as to why you are the best provider of your service. So the best way to do that is to actually follow up, or follow up relentlessly in a way that adds remarkable value to your prospective client's life. So the question that many people ask me is, what if prospects don't take me up on my irresistible offer right away? And yeah, it's a very valid question. So here's a couple of strategies I suggest. So the first one is, being that you already have a ManyChat Pro account now, you can actually perform broadcast messages. So it's no different to email marketing when you go ahead and run an email broadcast, once a week, once a month, what have you, to be able to engage with the audience. But just don't hard sell, don't ever hard sell. Just give value, give value, give value, and then just ask. Don't give value, give value, give value, and then try to sell. Just go ahead and earn the permission to be able to build connection and trust with your prospective clients. So there's one rule of thumb for this, and this one thing I see a lot of so-called messenger marketing experts get wrong, is that be careful what time you broadcast a message, because you are broadcasting through Messenger. So a lot of people have notifications turned on. So if you send a message at 3 a.m. to your audience, they're not going to be too happy, and you're not going to get many nice messages if you do that. So just keep the allocation of time just into account, people's schedule, and you'll be fine. The second strategy is what you can do is a comment to messenger strategy. So I am reserving the whole sort of nuts and bolts for this for my current $1 million business coaching and consulting clients, but I'll give you a quick rundown as to what this is about. So imagine if anytime someone commented, or any prospect or person commented on your particular Facebook page post, and straight away you could send them something through Messenger, engage with them, and actually build a hyper-targeted list as a result. Like, isn't that pretty neat? Like, all they have to do is say one word as a comment, and straight away you engage in conversation. Like, this is an absolute game changer. I'm getting excited just talking about this at the moment, but don't worry, rest assured, I'd suggest go have a play around with it in ManyChat Pro account, and you'd be surprised what type of ideas you come up with. So what exactly should you do next? What I would strongly suggest is to get started on your first campaign now, not tomorrow, not in a week, a year, whatever. Get started right now while this breakthrough strategy is both fresh in your mind, excited in your mind, and underutilized in the marketplace. Because I guarantee you, in 12 months' time, people will be using this strategy much more, which means that it will be much more widely used, widely adopted. So you're less likely to be positioned as a leader for your particular niche. So really just get started today, get started now, and just test, relentlessly test until you have a winning campaign. So if you're time poor, you still need help with all of this, and you're feeling a bit confused, and at the same time you're looking to add 1 million more to your business within 12 months or less, then I'd love to go ahead and have a chat with you through Messenger. Just click the link below or the link in the description, and we can go ahead and just take things from there. So just remember, I know we've gone through a lot of content today, and you must probably like, whoa, what the heck is going on? There's all this messenger ads, messenger bots, and JSON query and all that. Like, if you're a bit confused, just watch this video again. Take your time, take your pace. That's the whole point of me creating this video, was for you to go ahead and really have a structured resource to go back and forth to be able to use, and to create your first messenger ad that can help you land, high-end potential deals with clients that normally would require a lot more effort than this. So just remember that there's a good quote from Thomas Edison, that is, many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. It's the whole sort of Think and Grow Rich, 3 feet from gold sort of story, is that when you are just about to give up, that is the best time to keep going. So don't go ahead and take that for granted. Don't take it lightly either, but just understand that things take time, but I've given you $1 million strategy in order to drive your business forward and to be able to attract your dream clients on demand, so to speak. Okay, so I just want to give you a big thank you for being able to watch this video all the way up until this point. So I have a quick question. How did you go? So just comment win below if you are committed to using this strategy, because it really will give me a barometer as to how dedicated or how committed you are, or anyone is, in regards to wanting to use this cutting edge strategy to attract your perfect clients. So if you would like me to personally help you add 1 million or more to your business in 12 months or less, again, just click the link below or the link in the description, and I'll see you on the inside. So I hope you really enjoyed this presentation as much as I did. I had a whole heck of a lot of fun. I know I raced through it, but just know that the longest journey starts with a single step. So just get started today, and I'll talk to you soon.